here with MB District Magazine is Miss Nenna Yvonne. Hey, Nenna, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you're here with us. Now, let's get right into it. I want you to tell the people who Nenna Yvonne is.
Nenna Yvonne is a mixture of pop, urban culture, dance, and a little bit of influence of international fun and mesmerizing dance music. It's really just everything grouped in one, and I really just try to become like that person even when I'm performing.
Okay, and tell us about your latest album.
My latest album, I've been releasing singles all year, so a lot of my stuff has been releases for singles that I have been promoting both here in the States and overseas. The first single, Go Around, was released earlier this year, and then the second single was released back in October in Tokyo, and then eventually here in America.
Wow, so what was your inspiration for your album? And tell us the name of it, too.
Oh, no, it's not an album. I released singles this year. Last year I released an EP called Model Citizen, and it did really well virally. We got, like, a pretty strong response from bloggers, fans, and just, like, social media people in general. And this year, my single Go Around did really well. It got a bunch of placements on MTV, Viacom, and a few other stations like CBS, The Mentalist. And it also recently helped me win USA Songwriter of the Year. So it's been like a really good song for me this year. And also I released another single in Tokyo called 360. And that was like probably like the biggest pop record in Tokyo.
Wow.
It made front page next to Rihanna and Lady Gaga. And for an independent artist, a lot of people were just like blown away because they didn't think that, you know, without a label, an artist could get that kind of coverage. And Fox News did a whole interview, and they came out to my performance in Tokyo and just really embraced and supported my music. And then I released a third single in Europe called Gonna Change, and it was based on a TV show cameo appearance that I made for a TV show called Sophie versus Ruben, which is like a huge show apparently in Holland.
Wow.
So I did that as kind of like a follow-up to the TV show, and them allowing me to be a part of their culture and their, you know, lifestyle over there. And everything's different, like, depending on what part of the globe you're in, they have a different way of embracing music. So it's really cool to experience it.
Well, I mean, you're taking the world by storm. In your own words, how would you describe your musical style?
I would definitely call it experimental. It's definitely got sort of world feel to it. Very eclectic, very fun. Sometimes it's traditional, but it's got elements of free spirit and independence in it. So just everything in one.
Okay, and speaking of tradition and heritage, I know you were born in Nigeria. Do you still keep in touch with your Nigerian heritage?
I do. I've been back to Nigeria a few times already since I was born. And my father traveled all the time because he's a lawyer, and you know, he used to be a diplomat, so he was constantly traveling, and I'd go with him a lot of times. And his world affairs also became things that were interests for me because I'm really into politics and world affairs as well. And his work with the UN kind of helped influence my writing skills and my take on media and certain things happening within the media. And so I kind of allow those things to help build me and sort of help develop me as a stronger artist instead of allowing myself to succumb to whatever controversy or negativity that people might take away from the media.
Right.
So if any chance that I get to give back to the Nigerian community or even the African community in general, I always try to reach out. Like even this, I'm doing a benefit concert today in hopes to raise money for children in Africa so that we can get some holiday gifts for them. And we got a bunch of celebrity friends coming out, like Bruno Mars, Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be there, Mario Van Peebles is going to be there. It's just a lot of friends and supporters who believe in what I'm doing and encourage it.
That is very touching, and I'm glad to hear that you still keep in touch with the Nigerian community and that you're actually giving back to the community. You mentioned media. Now, we have to talk about this. MediaTakeout.com did an article comparing you to Nicki Minaj, and in that article they said you remind them of Nicki. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I had a fan tweet me about that, and they were so taken back because a lot of my fans know me for being like very free-spirited and very fashion-forward when it comes to my own opinion on what fashion should be like for me as an artist.
Right.
So when they saw that article, they were just so like, they couldn't believe it. Some people were even oblivious to the fact that Media Takeout would just take such a strong opinion and strong take on something that they know nothing about.
Right.
So it just kind of became this back and forth thing where my fans were attacking Media Takeout, and some people were like, no, you're wrong. There's no idea what Japanese culture is like. You know, a lot of people were saying even Nicki Minaj, her fashion concept came from somewhere else. None of it is authentic. None of it is original. And it just became this back and forth thing. But me, I just kind of relaxed and, brought it back to the music. It has to, at some point, become about what the fans knew you from the beginning, even before the clothes or, the costumes. It's something much bigger than that. And I think a lot of people, as they start to realize who I am as a person, they respect and admire, the constant change. It's not about one look or, one frame of mind when it comes to fashion. It's about constantly changing and
Right.
constantly evolving and becoming something bigger and better than some blog or some response to, a media outlet.
Right. And with that said, we have to talk about your sense of style. I love it, love it, love it. Do you have a fashion stylist, or are you more hands-on when it comes to what you wear?
I do have a lot of people I collaborate with for fashion ideas. I am constantly looking through magazines, constantly looking on the web, searching for new ideas visually. And sometimes I'll just have something in my head where I want to just bring it out as a form of like fashion, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like if I'm trying to shoot a video and I have an idea in my head and I want somebody to help me visually bring it out, I reach out to the people who have those sort of objectives in mind and they can get the job done.
Right.
So if they can get the pose that I'm looking for and I can show them the exact pieces that I need, it becomes a sort of team effort where everyone plays a huge role, and the overall goal is to bring that idea to life. So everyone does play a key role, but I do help in making sure that everything looks the way I saw it visually.
Great. So now you also have a page on MTV, and on that page, MTV not only calls you innovative, but they said you differ from today's top 40 divas, and they mentioned Keisha and Katy Perry. In your own words, what do you think makes you different?
For me, it's really just about staying true to like what you feel musically. I mean, a lot of times I love experimenting with different sounds and things for myself that I know that only I can create that. Like, there's no way another person can come in and say, oh, that's my sound, because there's no way to replicate it.
Right.
So when I'm creating or writing a song or even sort of coming up with a concept for a song, it's not really like I have to fight with anyone to sort of get thought across, because it comes naturally. That's why it's a talent, it's a gift. And some people don't take advantage of it enough as an artist, and others just know how to. And sometimes channeling your energy into what makes you unique is something you don't always have to think so hard about. It should just come because that's already a part of you.
That's what's up. Now, are there any artists in the game right now that you actually look up to?
I met Jay-Z. I'd love to meet him again, pick his brain a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm like a fan, a huge fan. A lot of it has to do with, me as a person being able to have that interaction with him from the first initial time and it being taken away so short. Like, I want to be able to kind of sit down with him and say, hey, you know, at that point when you saw me, this is where I was at, and, you know, this is where I've gotten so far.
Right.
What else should I be doing? You know, what advice would you give me?
That is what's up. And I guess in the same respect, what advice would you give to other up-and-coming artists?
My advice to anyone who's an artist or a visual person is to just keep working, keep creating.
Okay.
You know, eventually you'll see something that everyone else will get to know and love, and that's what will make your fans embrace you even more.
All right, and so now, you got to pick somebody different now. If you could have lunch with anyone in the industry, who would it be and why?
I mean, again, back to like Jay-Z, I definitely would love to sit down with him, whether it's over a cup of tea, breakfast, dinner, brunch,
right.
You know, a walk in the park. I don't know, something where it's just like, you know, one-on-one, because the media tends to influence people and how they think and feel and what they're allowed to say, or, you know, and I don't want to have that kind of subjective mind frame or vice versa. You know, I want to be able to just talk to the person without feeling like there's any restrictions.
Right. And that's great, and I think that's great, and that's admirable. Any ladies in the industry that you would like to sit down and have lunch with?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Any ladies in the industry that maybe can give you more of a female perspective that you would like to have lunch with?
I think there's a lot of them in the sense where they've definitely created a more empowering role for women in entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely am a huge Oprah fan, and I think the woman is just, she's a mecca. You know, she created something that not everybody can say I mean, a lot of people have the ability to do it, they just don't know how to convert it into something where it's meaningful and where you become a household name. And so I'm a huge Oprah supporter and fan, and I mean, she's someone I would just love to have lunch with, just sit down and explain to her who I am and what I'm trying to do, and hopefully one day.
That's what's up. Now, I know you're constantly traveling the world. You have to share your secret with us. How do you stay so slim and beautiful?
Honestly, it's genetics. I can't even find another reason for it, because there's just so many remedies and cures and ideas and cosmetics. There's so many things out there that people try and hope for to, you know, sort of make or enhance themselves in various ways. Sometimes I just kind of I just seclude myself from all of it, because the more you try to involve yourself in perfecting yourself, you're taking away from your natural beauty, the element that God gave you naturally. And so, you know, some days I love wearing makeup, some days I just don't want to.
Love it. And that is such I think I was telling you earlier, you're a very positive role model for young women. And so I think that's something that they need to hear, that it's okay to be who you are. And if you could talk to a young woman out there who may be, you know, struggling with their image or, you know, what they look like. And, you know, it's hard when you don't look like that girl on the magazine cover, or you don't look like that girl on TV. What would you say to her? What would be some words of encouragement that you would give her?
I would tell her, you know, whatever you focus your energy on, whatever you decide physically as a responsible human being, whatever you choose to focus your energy and mind on is what you become.
Okay.
If you tell yourself, I'm going to sit here and over-criticize myself and ridicule myself for not looking like this person, then you immediately start taking on this sort of negative persona. Every time you see yourself, or every time you see yourself in someone else, you become sort of agitated and angry and frustrated with something that was intentionally put there. And you start to wonder, you know, if I wasn't meant to be here, then why am I here?
Right.
If I wasn't meant to be the type of person I am, why would God allow me to be this person in this body, in this world?
Right.
There's a reason for everything. And if people really just open their mind and realize that you being like the next person doesn't help society, then they would understand that their calling is something very specific and very much needed in this earth.
I love it.
And you just got to find what it is.
Love it, love it. Well, tell us what other projects you have in the works and what's on the horizon for you in 2012.
Right now I'm working on a tour. I'm working on a college tour for 2012. I'm actually going to be doing the Dr. Phil TV show. I'm going to probably be performing there in January.
Okay.
There's just a whole bunch of things. Like none of it's like written in stone yet, because with this industry, things change up so last minute.
Right.
It's so crazy sometimes, but you just take it day to day, and just hope for the best.
That's what's up. Now,
I'm constantly writing. I'm always creating new music, so they can always look for that.
Great. and really quickly, can you tell us how because you're going to have new fans after this. How can the fans keep in touch with you? Where can they find you?
They can visit me on Twitter /Nenna Yvonne or Facebook.com/Nenna Yvonne Artist.
Okay.
Or my website is NennaYvonne.com.
Great. Now, Nenna, it's been a pleasure talking with you. So now that we've talked with you, you are now officially a part of the NB District Magazine family, and we wish you all the best. But don't get so big you can't come back and keep us informed with what you're doing, okay?
Oh, no, that is not ever going to happen. You guys can always hit me up, Facebook me, Twitter me, email me, send me a message through a pigeon, and I'll find a way to get back to you.
You are funny. Well, you're definitely down to earth, and we're going to call this a wrap, but it was a pleasure.